Hi, my name is Kate Madden, and I live on the unceded coastal Salish territory that we know as Vancouver, British Columbia. Today, I happen to be snowed in on the other side of town. We don't normally get snow here in a temperate coastal rainforest, but we've got about this much snow, and the whole city shuts down. So I don't trust the other drivers, and I'm just going to stay where I am, away from my own YouTube gear. So I'm just going to shoot this on my phone. It's not that cold, but I do have my my hot coffee here, middle of the afternoon. And if there's one thing I love about YouTube, what it's taught me is that perfect isn't done. So I'm just shooting on my phone, and the reason I'm shooting is today is it's been 3 weeks since I've seen Philosophy Tube's video identity, or Abigail Thorn'S coming out video. And I hesitate to use the word coming out story because she's clearly made a choice to tell a specific aspect of the story. That is her philosophy of identity, and which totally aligns with her channel. I first became aware of Philosophy Tube around the same time as I started my YouTube channel, and I was looking at other other YouTube channels that I could learn from, that as well as things I was interested in. And then if you've been a regular watcher of my channel, you've heard me mention different philosophers over the years now. And yeah, Philosophy Tube, if I had to choose 5 YouTube channels to pick from, Philosophy Tube would be on that top 5 list for me if I was on a desert island and I could only watch 5 channels, 3 channels even. Top 3, Philosophy Tube would be up there. But I'm not making this video in response to, Abigail's video about Hegel or Kant or Plato's Republic or whatever. I'm making this just about how her video about identity impacted me. I watched it the day it premiered with my girlfriend, and since then 1.3 million people at time of this recording have watched it. I imagine more will watch in the days and weeks to come. It is an important video, and the thing that really struck me was the honesty of it. And I say honesty because, like, if you understand philosophy, like, really all philosophy is just it's a way to view the world. It's a way to construct a worldview using stuff that, as a people, we've been arguing about for literally thousands of years. And specifically as it comes to knowledge, ethics, and existence. Like, am I real? And like, if Abigail in her script, and the character playing Philosophy Tube, references Descartes 3 times, I think, at least twice, but maybe 3 times. But Descartes' whole thing was, I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum. And as well as Philosophy Tube's very first video, which Reese, I think is the actor's name, makes the point of pointing out, was the very first video put on Philosophy Tube was a video about Descartes. And so what I found interesting was that authenticity was by stepping into the existence and the ethics of existence. Like Abigail, I'm just trying to remember the characters now, but it was Reese, the character playing Philosophy Tube, talks about going to the trenches, going to war, how that's no way to live, and I've got to put my rifle down, and you can't live, because sooner or later there has to be peace. It's no way to live. And I thought that was a really interesting aspect of it really reminded me of my sense of coming out. Like, you have this job, like the character says, you have this job and you hate the job, and you're just, or no, it was Abigail who talked about the job. My gosh, maybe I should watch it again. Anyways, I'm going back on 3 weeks worth of memory here. Abigail talks about the job that she had, but she hated, and she did it, and everyone would kill to have the job. And like, I've talked about all that before, like the life I had. But ultimately, like, you get to be normal and happy and just be comfortable with yourself. And I think that's where the impact of this video comes, is it shows that you can be trans, and you can be complex, and you can be this mosaic, as they talk about Audre Lorde's words being a mosaic. Identity is a mosaic. You pull back and then you can see the whole picture. You can be trans, but you can also see yourself reflected back at yourself. And when I was a kid, like, yeah, the first thing I saw was Bugs Bunny, and some silly vaudeville Looney Tunes cartoons, and that was the only way I could see myself reflected back. Or as a teenager, and this point is made in Disclosure, Sam Fetter's and Laverne Cox's documentary on Netflix. But how representation matters, and for a lot of us, we had really difficult representation of identity put forward to us. And I'm reminded of that a lot, like watching the Super Bowl last week, where there's a lot of ads for Clarice, I think that's going to be the name of the TV show. I've tried to forget it, but it's, the story of Clarice Starling, previous to Hannibal Lecter, I guess, and Silence of the Lambs. And, Buffalo Bill was not a trans woman, and I think we all understand that, but for a lot of cis people, they don't. And for myself, as a teenager at the time, I was 15 when that movie came out, like, that really impacted me to make me feel that sense of shame, and I have to hide this. And so, yeah, Philosophy Tube, I think this video presents an opportunity for people to see themselves reflected back. Abigail isn't making trans content. She is making content made by a trans person, but specifically isn't going to be making trans content outside of selfies on Twitter or what have you. But, she's chosen to share herself in that way, in a way that she controls. And, boundaries are so, so important. And, I checked before I recorded here. She's got 878,000 subscribers. I can't imagine the volume of messages she gets, especially after this. I know, like, I get a lot of messages sometimes, especially if I post a thought-provoking video that people want to take issue with, or email me about, their childhood trauma. And I've chosen to share my story very vulnerably, very openly. I've chosen to do that really in that a lot of those YouTube videos, Instagram accounts, Reddit accounts, where people were sharing their stories, especially someone in their 40s with a family, with a professional life, I found it really helpful to show me what could be done. And I think that Identity and Philosophy Tube, Abigail, is presenting not a sanitized version of transition, but rather this communication of transition where, she's been out for at least a year to her friends and family, if not longer. Like, you can look back at her videos, and, I remember watching the one about being queer, and I think that's the one she talks about mouthfeel. And I was like, oh, honey, like, there's only one way you know that word. And anyways, at any rate, she there are things she doesn't want to talk about. And that's great. Especially, I think, for people who might see, the experience of transition that maybe I've shared or others have shared, especially as parents, as people going through divorce. It's a story of loss and trauma. I have often said that art is cliche. All art is cliche, and Philosophy Tube is very much a channel about art. Everything about it is scripted, and as a YouTuber, that's one key thing that I learned from PhilosophyTube more than any other channel. So this video that I'm doing right now, I'm just riffing off the top of my head. I haven't scripted anything. And I have an idea of what the average watch time will be and everything. And I'm totally fine with that because I know the people who watch regularly are going to watch it to the end. And thank you so much. However, the videos that I really script tightly and spend time researching and executing on tend to have a watch time that's 3 times the average channel's watch time on my channel, the average video's watch time on my channel. And that was something I really picked up from watching Abigail. Was, she was so clearly telling a story using her experience as an actor and the theater that I was, reading about Joseph Campbell, Bill Moyers, the hero's journey, and how to bring that to YouTube. And in some of my videos, I think I've been successful doing that. Not this one, but some of them. And I found it telling. Like, I remember watching on Twitter over Christmas, Abigail was going off about how hard it was to get the permission to use a copyrighted song for a video. And I thought it was really interesting, and I was watching, as a fellow YouTuber, like, because there are times I'd love to put like a U2 song in, or something, a Bad Religion tune or something. But when David Bowie came on and She Steps Out, I smiled because, wow, I said, to my girlfriend, there she is. But then I also heard David Bowie, and I recognized it from the Black Star album, which was released 2 days before David Bowie's death. And I really like Lazarus off that album, the Lazarus track. And I'd never seen anyone turn their death into art before. And that's what Bowie did. Unquestionably, like, everything about Bowie was scripted in his life, and he was just about art. And, he said, would you rather define culture or be defined by culture? And that's something that I have always really respected about Bowie, and seeing that used in the context of moving from the performance of being masculine, which just resonated with me so much, like taking the bow, having your memories disintegrate, your identity disintegrate, come apart, and then come together again, hopefully with a happy ending. The character Reese is playing says, and in the end we find out, yes, Abigail is happy. She quotes ContraPoints, paraphrases ContraPoints, where Natalie talks about feeling like shit, and Abigail says, well, I feel happy, and I'll just put forward, I arrived at something similar independently on this channel, where I've frequently said I feel normal. And that's, I think, the greatest gift of transition, is feeling normal, feeling happy, comfortable. Your problems don't go away, but oh my God, they're so much easier to deal with. And, you can just smile. And it was a beautiful video, I think, for a lot of those reasons. I think something I'm certainly aware of is that I need to use my privilege that I have, just working in the corporate world that I do, to create space for others who might not have access to that. And I try to do that in my volunteer work. We're operating, as a mentor, acting as a mentor for gender and sexually diverse youth, and just generally recognizing that there's a space that I occupy that I can help create more space for others. And so I appreciated at the end of the identity video, Abigail steps back from the performance of PhilosophyTube. Even the coming out was a performance, it was scripted. And she recognizes herself as the transgender princess of Turf Island. And, I've, if you follow me on different platforms, you'll see I post a lot about being British. I have a British passport, and how heartbroken I am that, the situation in the UK is as it is, as transphobic as it is. Like, I don't want to go to the UK ever again. And I have family all through the United Kingdom, from Glasgow to Portsmouth, out to Wales, and up to Edinburgh. Like, I'm right as Scottish as it comes. And anyways, she recognizes that she has a place of visibility, and you know, certainly, like, I was seeing Entertainment Tonight reporting on her coming out, and Spin Magazine, and she posted a selfie at the BBC yesterday or the day before. So I imagine there's some sort of interview happening there, which, you know, I kind of, she can handle her own, but I wasn't sure I'd be willing to go on the BBC. Like, you know, your argument isn't an argument, it's just transphobia, and the BBC is terrible for platforming transphobes. And anyways, I digress. So I appreciate that we're going to see more philosophy videos from Abigail in the months and years to come. I've learned so much, and if you haven't had a chance to watch any of her videos, go check them out. You know, a couple of ones that I've really taken and appreciated was, there's a video about big data that was really, really interesting, and I forwarded that to a lot of people, a lot of friends and family. You know, indirectly, her video about men, trauma, and abuse influenced one video I made about a year and a half ago called Trans Trauma Abuse. And I think you can see that. As well as the ContraPoints influence the colors I used at the time. Another video that really sticks out is the Cosmonaut video about mental health and her own struggles with self-harm and suicidal ideation. That one really hit home for me, and is one that I've shared with people as well who are struggling. So yeah, check out her videos. They're great. Like, really, they're fantastic videos, and I hope you subscribe to her channel and enjoy watching the videos she puts out to come. So yeah, like, philosophy is the structure of your worldview. I use it. You know, I would primarily call myself a theistic existentialist, you know, somewhere between Kierkegaard and Sartre. But, you know, the other aspect, once you move past knowledge, existence, and ethics, you then move into the recognition of self and identity. And I think that's what this video has done, is it's put forward that philosophy of identity primarily through recognition, and the recognition that it can be a journey as a trans person where it can be free from trauma, or you can share it differently. And how we tell our stories matter, especially in the social media world where we get to know we're not alone. So with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching. If you haven't had a chance, please like, subscribe, and as always, here's to life.